East Coast LQ Reviews. Today I got another bourbon review. Today I got 1792 High Rye. This is mine and my dad's Thanksgiving bourbon right here. So this is a 47.15% alcohol by volume or 94.3 proof. We got the 1792bourbon.com website pulled up. If you guys want to check them out a little bit more, you can go to that website. So taste and notes on this, it says the spicy rye notes are complemented by years of aging in charred white oak barrels whose caramelized sugars delicately balanced with the peppery rye flavor. Enjoy a perfect marriage of sweet vanilla, caramel, butterscotch, and rye in 1792 High Rye Bourbon.
Sounds sweet.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, me and my dad have already drank a little bit of this. So we both have our own little opinions on it. I'm going to pour mine, and then he can pour his. To me, honestly, I feel like the rye definitely takes over in this bourbon. But it's good, though. That's not a negative comment. Yeah, so first we're going to go over the color. It's definitely got like a nice caramel color, but it looks almost orange, honestly, doesn't it?
It's a darker
Doesn't it kind of look orange?
Yeah,
I think that's why they bottled the whole thing with the orange label on the back and the orange ring around the the neck.
It's got a
It definitely has like an orange color to it, I think. Bring it a little bit closer
bourbon
for you guys. And then we'll go over the nose. My dad already has ice in his.
It mixes well with cola if it looks like cola to begin with, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I was kidding, but yeah,
Why do you
have a nice consistency? I like 1792 a lot. Like,
I was gonna say,
even their regular bourbon is one of my favorites.
Have you mixed the small batch with cola? Or do you usually just drink it?
Yeah. Cola chases, but I mean, it blends well with cola.
Oh, okay.
It has good flavor. This is one of your better flavorful whiskey, bourbons.
On the nose, I'm definitely getting a lot of that like rye, peppery spice to it. Like I said, the rye kind of overwhelms more of those bourbon notes that you would normally get. But I'm definitely getting a lot of like caramel. Definitely picking up that butterscotch because it is very sweet, like we said.
The vanilla is real strong, yeah.
Yeah, the vanilla is very strong. I'm almost getting kind of like a vanilla cake icing with the nose.
It smells good.
But yeah, with the nose, honestly, in my opinion, I definitely think this smells more like a rye than it does a bourbon. What would you say?
I think it has good bourbon smell and flavor, but it definitely is
very
like
strong
a rye bourbon.
Rye,
it's definitely like a rye bourbon. You get and even the regular. I was saying that to you earlier. The regular stuff is strong rye, so it has more of that little bit of a bite to it, which I think is why it complements the sweet well.
Yeah. So this is a NAS. So for the age statement, this is a no age statement. And the mash bill is undisclosed or whatever it's called. I think it's undisclosed.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't tell you. So we know that it's 51% corn because it is bourbon. So me and my dad were kind of saying that this might be probably like 35% rye because the rye is so strong that, right?
Yeah.
You would think that it's at least like
20
to 35% rye, right?
Yeah, well, it's like you said, it's got to be 51% corn, and I think their regular small batch is a high rye recipe anyway. So considering that they're calling it high rye, it's got to be a good percentage of rye.
That's what I was saying, like 30
malt.
to 35% at least, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's go for the taste. So up front, I'm definitely getting a lot of that like butterscotch flavor.
It's sweet.
I took a little sip. You kind of took a shot.
It's sweet, yeah. It's good.
What do you think? Cause I'm sure you got a lot more flavor than I did. I took a little sip.
It's like your better chocolates when it comes to whiskey with all of these different flavor notes. It has all of them pretty much. Like you said, it tastes. You get the vanilla, you get the caramel, butterscotch, and you get typical the oak flavor, which is holds its own as far as bourbon goes. And you still get the corn.
And you definitely get like those nice dark dried fruits. So I'm kind of getting like raisins, plums, a little bit like prunes.
Well, what I was saying too is some of the cheaper whiskeys that have like the honey and the raisins, and you taste all that in there. Like that's a really good blended whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even a blend. It's not
a high rye bourbon.
Yeah.
But no,
is it
yeah.
in a small batch, or is this just
No. The small batch
Well,
is.
they normally make a small batch. So is their high rye still within a small batch? I would imagine. So
I don't know if that's something you guys know. Definitely leave a comment
that's
below
a good question.
because
That's
that is a good question actually. But yeah, I'm definitely picking up a lot of like caramel. I'm picking up a lot of butterscotch. I can tell it's aged for a little bit because I'm kind of getting like a little bit of that astringency, kind of like dry finish to it. You know what I mean? So the oak and wood,
it's not an overwhelming bite. It doesn't have a real it has a
strong
burn.
bite.
It has a burn, but
From,
it doesn't
like,
have that kind of sometimes it's an obscene alcohol flavor. It don't hit you hard like that.
Yeah, but I think the
Some of
burn
the
is
cheaper
more
stuff.
of that like rye finish. I think the rye finish kind of makes it a little bit more of that burn. I'm not really necessarily getting a alcohol burn,
Yeah.
but I'm getting kind of like that peppery spice kind of finish to
Oh
it.
yeah.
And also the vanilla kind of lingers around for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's enough flavor to kind of hold back.
Yeah.
The bite comes in, but you're still tasting it, so the flavor is so sweet that it doesn't bother you. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden
Yeah.
I need the soda because this burn is so alcoholic. It's kind of making me have a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah. So I think up front it's totally like really sweet. So up front you get that like nice butterscotch, sweet caramel kind of taste.
Strong, yeah.
And then it finishes really spicy.
Yeah. Like the pepper. You get the pepper at the end.
On the nose you definitely get a little bit of like an alcohol smell. But it is bottled at 15%. So you're probably gonna get that. But like my dad said, excuse me, it definitely is really blended together pretty good.
Yeah.
So mouthfeel, I'd say this is about medium. I'm picking up a lot of flavor. It does not taste watered down at all, right?
No.
I was gonna say this. You definitely can't tell that they kind of diluted it.
No, for the money, it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great value.
So yeah, price. This is $36 for a $7.50 average price.
And it could contend with a $50, $60 dollar bottle of bourbon, no problem.
Yeah. So I recommend this bottle. If you could find it $35 to even $40, I would still recommend picking it up. What would you say?
Absolutely, definitely.
If you're a big rye fan, this is definitely something to pick up because, like I said, the rye kind of overwhelms the bourbon notes, but it's not overwhelming so much that you don't get any bourbon notes, but you definitely pick up like what you want to pick up, like that sweet butterscotch with a nice spicy finish. Somebody who likes rye, like I said, is totally gonna like this, and they'll probably pick it up 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying?
It tastes good, which is like, even when it comes down to any drink or anything, beverage or anything, if it tastes good, people want it again.
Yeah. So now
it'll definitely hold up.
Yeah. Now that you've had this, and I know you've had a couple bottles of 1792, what would you say is better? What do you like more?
Of the regular bottle of this right here?
Yes. What would you say? Do you like the small batch more, or do you like the high rye more?
It's really similar to the small batch. The regular small batch 1792 bottle, which is their common bottle in production, is basically almost the same flavor and texture and the aftertaste and everything is extremely similar to this, and I think that this is $6 to $10 more because it's stronger. It's like 5 or 6% stronger, and you're basically kind of tasting that it's got a little bit more of a bite, but it's not like a strong alcohol bite that's making. Sometimes I bought the 100 proof and I don't have to drink as much, but it doesn't taste as good. You're not getting into that with it. It still tastes good, but it's stronger.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Now I've had the regular 1792 small batch. Could you let me try it? I'm pretty sure that one's like 45%. So this is like 2.15% more. So you do get this is probably going to cost you around like $4 more, because I was looking at the prices. My boss had this for like $40.
Well, the regular is you can get the regular
like
for $30 though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So average cost, like I said, 36 on this, and that is like 30. So like you said, $6 more. I totally feel like that higher rye just like to me it changes the game completely. Honestly,
but the thing is that they're a bourbon that promotes that they normally are a high rye recipe.
Yeah.
So them calling it high rye, it's almost like double high rye,
Yeah.
and the flavor's extremely similar. So like you said, if you looked at the percentage of rye in the mash bill, I bet you it's maybe 10% more than they normally use, which I'm saying, because the other normal small batch has a high rye percentage. So I would like to see the difference.
Well, I'm sure this probably has like more of a spicier finish because it is high rye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm guessing 1792 small batch probably has more of that like oak and wood, vanilla. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this is kind of like that oak and wood and vanilla and caramel and butterscotch, all that sweetness, all those normal bourbon notes are right up front.
Yeah.
Whereas it finishes with a rye. I think that's kind of what they were shooting for with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The bites at the end with the rye,
To me, it honestly
because like you said,
it tastes a lot different than the other one. Whereas you were saying it was.
I don't know about a lot. I think the flavor's close, but I will give you this much. You know you're drinking a rye when you're drinking this, and yes, I'll give you that. The small batches, you're not questioning that it's bourbon.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying to you. That this to me kind of tastes like more of a rye. If you called this a rye and you said this was 1792 rye,
so it's closing in on the flavor of corn.
That's
the
what
other
I'm saying.
one, the corn is still strong enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you called this 1792 rye, I wouldn't argue with you at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even know that this was 51% corn. That's what I'm saying to you. That this is a little overpowering. On the rye notes, whereas some people might say that it is blended like perfectly to where you're getting a high rye bourbon where it tastes like a bourbon, but you're getting some rye flavor. But to me and my palate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With my opinion, I believe that this tastes more like a rye than it does a bourbon. Well, would you agree?
I've had several ryes, but I haven't had so many ryes that I would call myself,
a rye enthusiast or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what would you want to give a rating on this?
So I think it still tastes like bourbon, but yeah, I know what you're saying. There's definitely it tastes like a rye bourbon. I mean that's it's very common for them sometimes, to make
high rye bourbons.
Yeah.
To put a high rye mash bill, basically. What do you want to give for a rating?
No, when you're using more rye, you're using basically, it's not even really so much the corn, because you figure if the corn is 51%, sometimes they'll use 60% corn or whatever. So basically what you're talking about is the rye as opposed to how much wheat is going in it, right? So you get like a wheat versus rye flavor almost going on.
I believe they could use barley, though. So
well, barley also.
It could be malted barley or like it could be barley or wheat. I think that's why like they had the original wheated bourbons, whereas they would put corn.
So now on how much rye is it?
They usually replace rye with wheat. You know what I'm saying? So it could be 51% corn. It could be like I think this is at least 25 to 30% rye. So the rest of it could be at least wheat or barley. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it could be either or.
This is either a question for your viewers or you need to edit it. We need to Google it. But what is the percentage of rye where it would negate it being a bourbon?
Over 51% probably.
There you go. Pretty simple math.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over 51%, because then it can't be.
If it's not 51% corn, okay, it's
or
rye
over
whiskey.
50%, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if it's over 50%, then 51% of it can't be corn.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Going back to my last question I asked you, what would you give this for a rating? If you were to rate this 1 to 10, what would you say? You could do like 9.5, 8.5.
I thought you were going to do 5, and I was going to say it's a strong 4 out of 5, maybe even. I like 1792 a lot.
So what would you
regular
say,
bourbon
1 out of
is
10?
one of my favorite bourbons.
That's usually what I do, though.
I would give small batch 10 out of 10. And because this is a rye, and I usually don't go for a rye, like you said, just because it's got different flavors, and I'm a big bourbon guy, I would give this a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because, like he said, he's more of a bourbon guy. I'm more of a rye guy. I really do like ryes. I'm a big fan of this. If you're somebody who likes bourbon and maybe you want to start getting into rye, this is a good one to try out.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Because I would say rye is probably a little bit more of a stronger flavor than bourbon, whereas bourbon is more appealing because it's a lot more sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and then it is interesting that a company that is basically advertising that they're high on a rye end makes one of the best bourbons.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So recommendation, like I said, I recommend it if you're looking for a bourbon that might kind of put you towards that rye world, so you can start trying the ryes. Maybe you tried a very strong rye and you were a little bit
I should say the best
intimidated by it.
affordable bourbon.
Yeah. Um, Along with this, I'd like to say if you go from this high rye, probably try out like Wild Turkey rye because that's really soft.
Wild Turkey's delicious.
So
usually.
that's a good rye to alternate between like bourbon and rye. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because a lot of people who don't like rye, they don't like that very strong, spicy finish because
Yeah.
it makes them think that they're getting that burn. They think it's alcohol burn, but it's really just like that nice cinnamon spice kind of rye spiciness to
I
it.
think rye kind of brought me to bourbon. Rye was the first couple of things I tried away from like Irish whiskey or like common
Yeah.
Irish whiskey or Scotch.
So
Where
even
they're strong and flavorful.
Yeah.
The rye actually kind of brought me around
Yeah.
to bourbon.
exactly. So even like he said, if you're somebody who likes rye and you're a big rye fan, but maybe you don't like bourbon, this is definitely something that might steer you towards trying other bourbons and just
Yeah.
definitely getting the feel for a good bourbon whiskey with more of a different mash bill. Because I know most bourbons usually have a little bit of that spiciness, but it's nothing that's gonna kick you like this, right?
Yeah, no, nothing like really peppered like that.
Yeah.
I mean there might be some out there. I mean, there's stuff that is, but usually bourbon has, it's the fight for the strong bourbon flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, there you have it. If there's any other liquor beers you guys like to see on my channel, or whiskeys, high rye bourbons, or bourbon, single malt scotch, basically any whiskeys, any other liquor you guys like to see, definitely leave a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming videos on liquor and beer. Thanks for watching. Cheers.